We're coming up on summer, the time that most everyone seems to be taking a vacation. And I'm curious, are you, as a business owner, taking any significant vacations? Like, yeah, weekend trips are great, but I'm talking about a prolonged time that you are out of the office and the business is working without you. If not, if the thought of taking an extended vacation just about makes you want to scream, then you really want to pay attention to our video this week. So howdy everyone, my name is Leslie Hassler with Your Biz Rules with service businesses to create predictable profits. And oftentimes on average, we can create an extra $100,000 in profits in 12 months. And our clients can do amazing things when that happens. They can grow and scale their business. They can enjoy the freedoms of being a business owner, like taking a long vacation. So today we're going to talk about how to keep your business running smoothly so that you yourself can take a long vacation. And if you think that, first off, it's like, what's long? I'm talking like a month. If you could take a month vacation out of your business, I think that is always a sign of success. And so I want to share with you a client story because it's one thing to say it, but if I can show you that it happens for other people, you might start to see how it could happen for you as well. So we started working with a client and they came in because they were really frustrated and they felt stuck in a rut. Like they haven't been able to get their business to grow. They were losing profitability along the way and they had much bigger dreams. So while they had a good business, they really wanted a great business. And so that's why we started working together. But I always ask this question. I always ask my clients, what would heaven look like? What's the payoff for you? What is that thing that you might think is out of reach right now as being one of the rewards of being the business owner that you would love to see happen for yourself? And my client shared that she was about to get married. So she was going to get married in about 9 months. And she had made a promise to her fiance that she would go on a month-long honeymoon with him without work, not bring the business with them. Now, she worked a lot in her business. It took up a lot of her time and we were going to kind of fix that. But we also had to fix the business. We had to get the business owner out of so much of the day-to-day operations that nothing would capsize, nothing would break, nothing would go south while she was on her honeymoon. So I'll share with you, believe me, I'll share with you what we did here in a minute. But here's what happened. So she leaves for her wedding, beautiful wedding, is on her honeymoon for a full month. No phone calls, no text messages, no emails, no communication from the business during this month. So she's had an incredible time with her new husband. She's been able to enjoy life, enjoy some of the rewards of working so hard in her business. And she's coming back. It's Sunday night. And we all do it, where you sit down to your laptop to look at your emails because good gravy, who knows how much is going to be there? Who knows what kind of problems or fires you're going to be walking into on Monday morning? And you get that certain amount of dread, right? She takes a deep breath. She opens her email and she says, Leslie. I said, yeah. She goes, there was only 150 emails. I'm like, whoa, that's tremendous to be out for a month and only have 150 emails. I was like, okay, score one, score two. What did they say? She goes, not a single one of them. Not a single one of them needed me to do anything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I get the sense of relief, like the weight of the world is off your shoulders. She said, every single one of those emails were my team taking care of business. They were just keeping me in the loop, letting me know how projects went, letting me know which projects closed out, which new clients came on board, how all the pieces and parts were working, what they might need from me as I return back to the office, just to give me a heads up. But nothing was urgent. Nothing was an emergency. Nothing was a problem to be solved. Can you imagine how lovely that is? I mean, it brings a smile to my face. So what is it? What is it that we did leading up to this major vacation that actually had the business running smoother and smoothly so the business owner could take that long vacation? Well, there's basically three big categories of things we did. The first thing you're going to have to think about in order to get the business to support you on this vacation is that the structure will set you free. Okay. Oftentimes, when we don't input structure into a business is when it poorly behaves. It can act like a angry temper tantrum that a 3-year-old is throwing. I definitely think the 3s were worse than the 2s. In your business, because there's not structure. So we looked at things like process, we looked at things like access, and we looked at things like automation. So in order for other people in your team to be able to back you up, you've got to have a system that enables them to back you up, that enables somebody that may not do this on a daily basis to get their brain refreshed, right? And enables you to cross-train. But then, because we did this across the board in the business, what we did is free up everybody else's time so that they had time to be able to support another team member while the team member's on vacation. So it truly is that this structure will set you free. A lot of times the business owner fights this structure because they feel like things are too customized or only I can do this. And true, there are some things that likely day in, day out, only you should do, but they're actually quite smaller than you could ever know. So really and truly think about that. What kind of processes, what kind of automation, and what kind of access is needed to be able to fill the gap while you're out of the office. The next thing we did was scheduling. Now, I don't know about you. I happen to be a planner. I don't know if you've gotten that. I plan out my vacations for the next year in December. If I don't have some reservations made by the second week in January, I likely am not traveling. And I love to travel. So it's always a high priority for me to plan out our trips. And so those things get on the calendar first. Nothing wrong with that, right? The second part of this, it really becomes in your habits as the business owner. You can be your own worst enemy. I can be my own worst enemy. It's something that we do because, especially in service businesses, there's tend to be a kind of a servant leadership attitude. Service is a love language. It can be really hard to say no, right? But you're only setting yourself up for failure if you don't protect the scheduling around major trips like this. So let me talk a little bit more about that. So number one, do not plan a major deliverable to be delivered the day before you leave on a trip. Inevitably, something will not go right. Inevitably, your attention will be needed, right? And you've ruined this whole idea of being able to unplug. So don't do it. Now, I know somebody out there is gonna do it because this is what happens. We have to learn the hard way. If it's an absolute must, right? If it's an absolute must, then you've got to restructure the way that the project is done in such a way that it's super easy. And if deliverables like feedback from your client, information from your client, if those things don't get met on the timeline that's been agreed upon by all parties, then the deadline moves. You're just going to have to put on your big girl panties and do it at that point in time, or you will self-sabotage your trip. So as much as you can, I say, just don't even schedule. Don't even schedule. Have the last major deliverable at least a week out, if not more like 2 weeks out, and don't have the next one due for another week or two after. That gives a nice buffer to this trip and ensures that everyone will be happy. Because believe me, while your client may express dissatisfaction at the date that the delivery is going to be, it's a mild disappointment. It will be such a bigger problem if you disappoint them by not meeting a deadline. So do that. Okay, so that's number one. The next thing is about this concept of exit and re-entry. So exiting is you closing all the loops, getting all the things that are on your plate off your plate before you leave so that you're not the bottleneck, okay? You've got to allow for space to do that. Depending on your business, depending on your workload, depending on the nature of the work that you do, I would suggest at least a day prior to you leaving office is the day, the last day that you're in the office, let's say, is the day that you schedule no appointments, no phone calls. Do not do this to yourself. Really use that day to close loops. The only phone calls are going to be like, hey, John, I owed you this information. Wanted to let you know that it's in your inbox. If you could take a look at it, make sure it's everything you need. I'm leaving tonight at 5. I won't be back for a month. I need you, if you can do that, that would be great. Even better if you can have that done the week before, right? Like you can control so much of this. You can control so much of this. You've just got to be willing to be brave enough to do that, to manage this. On the flip side, reentry. Now, when I think about reentry, like most people, you know, they're working like mad to get out the door. We want to kind of dissipate that so you're less stressed, you can enjoy more. But when you come back in, we talk about the fact that reentry can burn. And so if you don't have a process in this area, it can be really painful to come back into the business. And so I like that same space that you gave yourself on the before, that you have it at the end. This is the time that you get to reconnect with your business. This is the time you get to reacquaint yourself with where everything is so that you're not, you're better prepared to hit the ground running. So allowing for that time on the front end and the back end of your trip is super crucial to having everything go smoothly. The last thing is backup. You've got to schedule backup. So even for my client that took the month-long vacation, there were a lot of things that we could cross-train with other parts of the leadership team. We found the people that didn't mind the work, that could do the work, could fill in the gap. We trained them ahead of the time, like 3 months, at least 3 months ahead of the time, trained them, created that process like we talked about, the structure will set you free, and then we eased them into it. So we actually had some people starting to do the tasks a week before the business owner left. To do that stuff a week before, so see how we've created that entry gap or the exit gap already, and they still had a week of the business owner being there to ask questions, to get better, to get more comfortable. So nobody's system was shocked, if you will, by this, by the vacation happening. So that's scheduling. The next thing is all about expectations and communication. You can almost never communicate too much. You really can't. Each human on this earth is bombarded with information. And if you choose to only communicate once and you think everybody's going to remember, I put that on your shoulders, not theirs, because it does take constant communication. So for instance, communicate frequently and early. Okay, so next quarter, I'll be going on a month-long vacation. Next month, I'll be going on a month-long vacation. Next, in 2 weeks, I'll be going on a month-long vacation. In 1 week, I'll be going on a month-long vacation. By the way, I'm leaving tomorrow for my month-long vacation, right? It's almost like that broken record. But you want to ensure that everyone's expectations are set, so that your team knows what's up. Your clients know what is up. They know that things are going to happen. Now, I will say I am blessed to be working with a wonderful group of women business owners who share very similar values. A lot of us like to travel. And when we travel, we want the freedom just to be ourselves and not be a business owner, not to have all those pressures. So we all respect those boundaries. Now, here's how this can look for you in your business is that if you want your team to respect your boundaries, you're going to have to respect your team's boundaries. You're going to have to set the expectation that when a team member goes on vacation, it's not that that team member is expected to call in. In fact, sometimes I have team members that they like ping me and I'm like, what are you doing? You're on vacation. Stop this. Like, go away. I don't want to talk to you until you're back. Now, I do it with love, right? But you see the point. I'm reinforcing the fact that I don't want to ping you. I don't want to have to ping you. I don't want to have to communicate with you. I want to turn off for a period of time and just be me. So if you want that for yourself and your business, you're going to have to create a culture that supports it. And you do that, sorry for the cough, you do that by setting expectations. You can do this with your clients. You can do it with your team. Your team you probably can give more humor with, but your clients at the same time is sharing that flexibility. So I know one of our one-to-one clients, I'm traveling in June, she's traveling in June. Our schedules are a little offset from each other. We went through and we planned out the month. Okay, when are we just not going to meet? Because both of us are maybe out. When are we going to shuffle our meeting? What flexibility can I show to her? What flexibility can she show to me? And we plotted it out so that we have a plan. We know what's going to happen. You can do that with your clients as well. In fact, they'll more likely appreciate your flexibility when you're extending it and be willing to extend you more. And if you have clients that are not able to do that, either set up a support system for them within your team or consider to whether or not they're your best client and people that you want to be working with long term. So that's a bit of how you can actually take a month off, be able to know that your business is running smoothly so that you can take a long vacation. And truly the secret to success is knowing that the structure will set you free, making sure that you're scheduling properly and honoring that schedule, and then setting expectations with everyone that's involved. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you're doing super well. And until next week, I'm Leslie Hassler with Your Biz Rules, and I'll be talking to you soon.